So in chapter 1076, we saw Shanks back in the story, which
For the first time in years, feels like.
the first time in 1 year. It's always exciting.
More often than beforehand.
Oh yeah, I'm loving it. You can't give me enough Shanks at this point. Like anything, I'll take it.
Building him up for 25 years.
Oh my god. When you say it out loud, it's like that meme where Matt Damon ages rapidly. That's like happening to me.
That's us waiting for Shanks to come back on screen.
Yeah, exactly. Which I assume that we won't, but we'll talk about it anyway. So in this video, we're going to be talking about how powerful Shanks is, because this is something that it's just a part of the One Piece community. If you're in it, one of the rites of passage is talking about how powerful Shanks is, because we really don't know. And it's, really important now because he's seemingly about to fight Kid and the Kid Pirates. Ooh. And on the surface, it seems like, he's just going to destroy him, right? Because why wouldn't he? So what are your thoughts on this initial matchup? And, also getting into how powerful Shanks could be.
I say this to everybody, but man, what bad luck Kid has. Shanks actually says in the chapter, we were just about to leave. If Kid waited maybe 30 minutes, he might have not ran into Shanks. That is insane to think about. But now that we do have this matchup, the first thought I had in my mind was, well, there goes Kid, right? Because Law, he's fighting Blackbeard. A lot of people are assuming that Blackbeard's going to win. And now we have Kid versus Shanks, and a lot of people, rightfully so, are thinking that Shanks is going to win. But even with that, we saw that Law against Blackbeard, he put out a good showing. His crew showed out, Law showed out, he did some damage, and, I think it was a hard-fought battle. I think we're going to see the same thing here with Shanks. A lot of people don't expect much from Kid. I think Kid has plot armor to some extent, and I think he is going to do well, but in terms of a victory for him, I just personally can't see that.
So you think that we'll see Shanks fight, like as much as we saw Blackbeard fight Law?
Here's the thing with power scaling, man. It's rough because there's no right or wrong answer, because it's One Piece. Like, anything can happen, right? But because Killer and Kid kind of put emphasis on the fact that Kid hasn't seen Shanks before, and that last time they fought, they didn't make it to him, right? They didn't have the right to see Shanks in person. This can't happen again. Like, Kid's gonna have to see Shanks. It's at that time. He has a 3 billion berry bounty. He helped take down Big Mom. I think Kid is ready for it. Whether, regardless of how well he does, I think he should make it to that Shanks level, even if he's just scraping by, in my opinion.
But do you think, like, we'll literally see on the page, like, Shanks fighting?
If Oda doesn't off-screen this fight, I think we will. I think there exists a reality out there where we do see Kid and Shanks clashing. Will the sky split? Most likely not. But then again, Kid does have Conqueror's Haki. He has Conqueror's Haki. We haven't seen it yet, but we know he has it. So who knows? Maybe he does actually split the sky. And if that happens, the fan base, for better or worse, it's going to go crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a lot of people like Kid for some reason.
It's just the way that he's been portrayed. People love Law. People will fight to the death for Law, but that's because we've been with him for, I think, almost 10 years now. He's almost like a Nakama at this point. He's been with us for so dang long. Kid hasn't had that same fortune. We saw him in bits and pieces. We see him lose a lot. We hear that he gets off-screened a lot, and then we show up to Wano when the guy's missing an arm. And he's like, yeah, by the way, the red hair pirates took my arm. Like, he just isn't renowned for his W's, I think, is the main problem.
Yes, that is very true, and maybe that could be painting the narrative here of, like, why Law and Kid are fighting Blackbeard and Shanks, because it's like, they just had this huge victory, this huge moment, taking down somebody they had no business taking down. Like, they were real life underdogs. Like, there was
they really were.
Most of the fandom did not think they were
so
gonna win
crazy.
That. Yeah, go back and read the comments on, like, chapter reviews of any videos. Everybody, not everybody, but majority.
The reason why Law and Kid are such an upset victory almost is because when you think about the timeline of One Piece, about a month ago, at least 2 months at most, Law got no diff by Doflamingo.
Yes.
Like, that is the gravity of the situation here. Law went from losing to Doflamingo to beating Big Mom in the span of 2 months. That is insane to think about.
Yeah, they're like, in real life, growth like that is like once in a lifetime.
Like 10,000% stock increase just out of nowhere.
So it's like they're so powerful together that they're equivalent to like a Kaido or Big Mom. But when they're by themselves, not so much. And since they're coming off of that huge big victory, now they're, suddenly coming into the realization that like, oh, we're in over our head at this point.
These are the Yonko.
Yeah, these are like we can't solo these guys. So, and Shanks seemingly is the most powerful pirate at this point in the verse. It just seems that way to me, at least.
Yeah,
like,
the fan base is kind of like gravitated towards that answer that Shanks is probably top 3, if not number 1.
Like, he has so many feats without having any feats. It's really wild. Like, so many just stories. Okay, so first of all, he allegedly stopped Kaido from coming to Marineford. We don't know what happened with that. We could speculate about it for months. You could say that he scared Kaido.
Fight? Did he talk him?
Yeah, we don't know, but that is technically a Shanks feat. Shanks's biggest feat, I don't know, it's personal preference, whatever you think his biggest one is, but I think his biggest is clashing with Akainu, right?
Yeah, he stopped it with his sword, like no hockey on that blade whatsoever. He's just straight chilling. Yeah. He just unsheathed it, and then he just stopped the magma attack.
And Akainu didn't want the smoke. He kind of just stood there.
He stood there, he backed up a little bit, he was like, Kagami.
Yeah. So we've got that, and then aside from the hype and him meeting with the Gorosei, I mean that could go into him being a celestial dragon, but there's some kind of respect there. And then recently we just talked about him taking down Green Bull with just Conqueror's lightning or whatever he did. We still don't fully know.
Drive-by Conqueror's clash. I don't even know what that was.
He I don't know. He did drive by and conquer something.
Have you read the 4 billion booklet from Film Red?
No.
It talks a little bit about Shanks's powers too.
Ooh.
About how Shanks he can light his sword on fire, which we know he can do from Film Red and from the booklet that Oda provided. And we also know that Shanks' haki is so strong, it can actually negate other people's haki.
Oh, yes, I did read that.
There's not like a good name for it, but I think people call it cancellation haki.
Oh my
And that's something that really only Shanks has been able to have so far. So even that, it's like just the concept of having almost a 4th haki power out of nowhere is insane.
Wow. Oh my god, I totally forgot that I had read that.
I guess he needs something, right? Because we have all the other Yonko, like Luffy has the Sun God Nika fruit, Blackbeard has the Darkness fruit, Big Mom and Kaido, we had the Seiryu, and then we also had the Soul fruit. Shanks had to have something in his arsenal to compete. Like, his haki has to be insane to stand at that level with no extra, powers.
Yeah, wow. It's like having a built-in ability to just shut down haki. That's incredible. And we really haven't seen that in the series yet. It's always been about shutting down devil fruits. Never about shutting down haki. Oh my god. And it's like, how far can Shanks see into the future?
I would imagine he possesses every advanced trait of haki out there. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if when we get to this fight, we'll see so many crazy haki feats. Like, I mean, Kaido even mentioned it when he was fighting Luffy, saying, hey, like, devil fruits are cool and all, but haki is the way to go.
Yeah, and I think we're about
to have that on display.
Yeah, then goes on to get defeated by a devil fruit.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was coded in haki, but still, it wasn't
he had Rio in the last attack.
It wasn't definitively proving Kaido's point, though. Like, if Luffy was just like, all right, goes back to base form, and then coats a fist and then knocks him out with it. Yeah.
I think the matchup between Shanks and Kid is going to be rough. And I say this because of the Big Mom fight and how Kid fought Big Mom and Kaido. Mainly because when Kid fought them, his attacks usually boil down to gathering metal, turn into a big monster, and then attack the target. And that works really well for Big Mom and Kaido, who are the size of a giant almost. But when you're trying to land, Coronado on Shanks, who can easily just dodge it, I don't know, I feel like Shanks' agility is also way up there in the verse to where a lot of Kid's attack might not even reach Shanks. Like, he'll just dodge it easily.
Yeah, I assume he's doing Bleach, Shunpo, and Dragon Ball Z stuff where he's just teleporting pretty much.
Yeah, like dancing around the Kamehameha.
Yeah,
like
I fully
Shanks normally shouldn't get hit by a lot of these attacks. Big Mom and Kaido, they're big, they probably can't dodge most of it. They want to tank it head on, easy, fine, whatever. Shanks, nah, dude, this guy's nimble. We've never seen Kid fight anybody his size, really.
Yeah, I guess we haven't. Yeah, Shanks is more normal, I guess. He is still pretty tall, but for the One Piece world, I guess he's not too bad.
Yeah, it could be worse.